How's it going, everybody? Cliche Linux YouTuber back again with just to say thanks, you know? So this video, in case it's not painfully obvious, is a bit of a sister video to the last one that I did, where we talked about Linux and like my whole story behind that, a little bit of a history lesson, stuff like that. The channel has received such a explosive growth spurt over the past couple weeks purely because of the last video, and I just want to thank everybody who's decided to subscribe and comment and stick around and all that fun engagement stuff that really does boost my channel a lot more than you'd expect. So thank you for that. That really does help out the channel a lot. And it's a little crazy to think about how the amazing response to that video was, and you know, all the people who came in and sharing their little stories and sharing their own opinions and stuff like that. It's crazy to think about how that entire video almost didn't happen. We're going to be going into a little bit of some like inside baseball topics. We're going to get pretty technical in this video. I'm going to dive into a bunch of like really specific granular details. And because a lot of you are Linux users and technical people yourself, I'm sure you have no problem engaging with this kind of content. And just saying, if you want more of this kind of content, if you want more of me going into some really granular detail, then that join button is right below. If you join the $5 tier, you get access to every single behind-the-scenes video I've done over the past, like, I don't know, 2 years now, where I go over audio codecs and like editing details and all that fun stuff. Okay, enough shilling. Back to the topic at hand. I think the best way for me to tell this story is, like many stories, tell it chronologically. So we're gonna rewind a little bit. This was last month when I recorded this video. I filmed it, I set up the lights, I had the camera more behind me facing the desk, and I started editing it. And I've been editing that video for about a week, maybe 2. Now, since we're going into some like pretty granular details, I think it's important to illustrate right now that I don't own a video camera, a DSLR. I don't own any of that stuff. I have 2 things I use to record videos. I have the Logitech Brio webcam that you are currently seeing out of for this video. Yeah, but I also have a Samsung Galaxy Note 8. This phone is my main video camera. Ugh, the back is all like smudgy and shit. It's probably picking up super hard on the camera. Whatever, this case is old. Who gives a shit? So this phone and this camera back here is what I use to record pretty much all of the videos you see on this channel, if it's not being done through this webcam. I would like to one day invest in a better camera, a better DSLR setup. I would like to, put some money back into this channel and, properly like get some good video quality improvements. Because that last video, I'll admit, one of the weak points of it is just video quality is kind of shit. Like, I'll be the first to admit, I'm the one who edited the fucking thing. Do you want to come up here, Gizmo? Come here. There you are. Say hello to Gizmo, everybody. But for now, we're just kind of stuck with this phone, and I make it work, you know? And we're gonna go to the footage of the video, and we are going to click this little button right here that turns off the color correction for the video. Okay, goodbye, Gizmo. And once we click this button, it's not great. So why am I going into all this detail about, what camera I use? How did the cell phone that you use almost kill this entire video? Well, listen, if you let me tell my story, I'm gonna get to it. Calm the fuck down. Now, a simple person, a person who has a lot of time on their hands, would either connect the phone directly to your computer that you're using to edit and transfer the footage that way, or maybe you have like a little USB drive that you transfer the footage to, and then bring it over to your computer, plug it in, and then transfer the footage there. Like, there's many different ways you can transfer footage from a camera to an editing rig. But I decided to be a little bit extra, and I use a program called Syncthing. Now, Syncthing is a piece of software that allows you to connect 2 machines together and transfer data between them wirelessly. Think of it like Apple's AirDrop. I don't know if Apple's AirDrop is based on Syncthing or vice versa, but it's basically the same thing. So I have Syncthing installed on this phone, I have Syncthing installed on my main editing rig, and that's how I transfer footage back and forth. But there are important questions you need to ask when you have a file transfer software such as this. So Syncthing works in such a way that you define a single directory between the 2 devices. And in default configuration, which is what I had running for, this entire operation, both devices are allowed to read and write to the same directory. So any changes that happen in that directory, either on the phone or on the computer, they're going to get reflected when you enable Syncthing. Now, Syncthing isn't always active on this phone, I should be clear about that. It's only active when I want to transfer footage between the phone and the computer. So most of the time, Syncthing isn't activated between the two. I have to manually go in and do that, and I prefer it that way, honestly. But that came to bite me in the ass, as we'll see in a second. So the question is, if I were to delete footage off of this phone and activate Syncthing, what happens to the footage on my computer? The correct answer is it gets deleted. Now, if you're a smart person, you would probably, copy the footage off of the syncing directory and put it on your redundant SSD-based RAID 1 configuration drive that you have so you don't lose footage. You would think you would do that, right? But I didn't, and I am a moron. When I deleted the A-roll off of this phone, went to go record a new video, and then activated Syncthing when I came back, the change in the directory on here was reflected on my computer. So that means all of the A-roll got deleted, and because I didn't put in the effort to enable something called file versioning, and because I didn't copy the footage off of the syncing directory, I lost the A-roll to the video. Now, this project wasn't entirely lost because, the way that I record on here, I was also recording audio on this microphone right here. So I still had audio, but I had no video. And because of the way this whole video was shot and written and all that fun stuff, because there was no video, am I just gonna do a pull of cold ones and just make puppets of myself, commission an Etsy puppet and fucking re-record A-roll? I don't have the time for that. I don't have the effort. I don't have the patience. I don't have the budget for that. So after a lot of screaming, after a lot of anger and frustration and a little bit of crying, I decided to just sit down and figure out two things. The first one is file versioning on Syncthing, and that is so unbelievably easy to set up. You just go into the menu options, enable file versioning. I have a trash configuration. So what that basically means is that in the syncing directory for this phone, whenever changes are made to the directory, on my computer here, I have a secondary directory inside of it that is labeled trash. So if any footage gets deleted because of the actions of this phone, it instead goes into a subdirectory where all of that footage is temporarily held. I can go and delete it later if I need to make space, but you get the point. If the footage gets deleted, it doesn't actually get deleted and it gets put somewhere else for me to recover if something bad happens. But the other thing that I enabled, which is a little bit more interesting, that I talk about in the behind the scenes video, is something called a cron job. Now, in my 3 years of using Linux, this is the first time I have ever run a cron job before. Some of you might be thinking, what the fuck is a cron job? Basically, you are setting a command. You are dictating a command or a string of commands or fucking whatever to activate and run at a given time during the day. You can make it run once a day, multiple times a day, once a week, once a month, once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, fucking whatever. You define the time and rate at which this command executes, and then the computer just executes it behind the scenes without you really knowing about it. Depending on the size of the command, obviously. If you're running some fucked shit, then you're probably going to notice, but a simple backup command, it's not really going to be all that noticeable. And when I'm doing it at 3 in the fucking morning when I'm asleep, I'm not going to notice it at all. Just to recap here, I have now set a cron job to run every day at 3 a.m. to back up my home directory. Now, I should probably also include my footage directory, but that's a redundant, like, RAID 1, or is it RAID 0? It's one of the RAIDs. Whatever it is, it's a redundant setup. I have 2 drives mirrored, so that if one of them dies, I can just slot in a new drive, and it rebuilds the file system, and everything will be just fine. If I lose both drives at the same time, buddy, I got bigger problems on my hands than just losing the footage drive. But realistically, I should also back up that footage directory as well. I will get around to it eventually. Hopefully it doesn't take some catastrophic footage malfunction to make me get off my lazy ass and actually do it, but hey, we will see. But where is this footage being backed up to? Because I'm certainly not backing it up locally. You gotta remember the 3-2-1 rule of data integrity. You have 3 copies of the data, you have 2 different media formats, and you have 1 offsite. Now, one of these rules is not entirely feasible for me at the current moment. I don't exactly have an off-site backup, right? I have 2 backups, separate backups of all my data, one on my NAS cluster and one backed up to tape directories. And I don't exactly, like I said, I don't have anything off-site, so, you know. Yes, we have a Proxmox backup NAS cluster. And it has taken about as long as I've been using Linux to set this thing up properly, to make it be stable and work properly. I'm just yapping. If I don't make any fucking sense, I really hope that the B-roll I'm putting up in the background helps. I will be in the comments if what I'm saying is not clear and you don't properly understand what I'm saying. So if you have a question for me, leave a question. I will answer it, I promise. I will admit I don't know much about the whole tape aspect of the Proxmox backup cluster. That would be more of a question for my dad. Maybe I will have him on for the behind the scenes video, so that way we can go into more granular detail, but for the time being, this is the basic outline. I have my computer, it backs up every night to the cluster backs it up to tape. So we have several safety nets in place to make sure that this whole situation does not happen again. We got file versioning, we got a bunch of backups, we have redundant footage storage. The only thing that I have to do now is not be an idiot and actually transfer the footage to the footage directory that I have defined. And I want to be perfectly clear with just how devastating this whole thing was. I was probably 60 to 70% done with the video before I had just killed all of the footage. And you want to know what's fun? All of this happened on my fucking birthday. You know, this whole situation came about because I'm a moron and I got lazy and I got complacent, and you know, if I want this channel to continue growing, I have to take care that I don't lose any footage, because that shoves a massive fucking, you know, wedge in my workflow. So yeah, learn from my mistakes. Properly back up your footage, properly back up your data, and don't get complacent, because if you do, then you'll let mistakes through. That kind of rhymes, I guess. Fuck it, whatever. And it makes it even more crazy that this entire situation happened, because like I said at the beginning of this video, this is one of my biggest videos to date. Not this one, but the last one that I made, the one that almost died, that's my biggest video to date. Dude, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, that video got 40,000 views. What the fuck? Who are you? Where did you all come from? I've been making videos on YouTube for roughly, like, probably 15 years at this point, maybe longer, dude. And it has been like a lifelong dream of mine to do this as a career, and you guys are slowly but surely making this a reality, and for that I am eternally grateful. And I will do my best to continue making good content, and well, not just content, just good videos in general. I never exactly stated this in a video, but one of the main goals I have with this channel is not just to make content, right? If you want content, you can actually go to my side channel, where there's a lot of like gameplay videos and let's plays and more behind the scenes stuff, like just stuff that doesn't exactly fit on this channel. If you want high quality content, you can stay here. If you want garbage, go to the garbage pile. But for this channel, I want to make content that is engaging in the sense that you actually learn something out of it. I want to be able to teach people the things I know. I want to be able to just help improve people's lives, even if it's just by a little bit. You know, providing entertainment is certainly one way to do that, but you have thousands of people, millions of people on YouTube who do that exact same thing. If you wanted entertainment, you can go fucking anywhere, right? And if you want informative content, there are other places with far more informative content than I could ever produce. I am one for learning all the nitty-gritty details, but, you know, the tricky thing, like the real challenge of making stuff like this, is being able to teach people it, you know? The older I get, the more I realize that the most difficult thing you can do as a human being is communicate to another human being. Teaching them, being in a relationship, working with someone, like, these are all, like, extremely challenging things that people just straight up never learn. And something that I always do, and one that I try to ingrain into other people, the best way to learn something is to teach someone else. Because when you try to teach someone else something that you're very, like, knowledgeable in, not only do you have to convey the information in a good way, but you also have to be able to package it up in such a way that's easy to remember. Like, I could easily make a video like this, where there's barely any script, and I'm sitting here rambling about nothing, and I'm trying to teach y'all about stuff. Like, you can go at the beginning of this video where I'm trying to explain how my fucking backup process works. I don't write scripts. So, like, I wrote a little bit of an outline, but I didn't write like an exact script here. I'm not going into hyper detail on how Proxmox backup clients work. Maybe for a future video, maybe I will actually go into some hyper details about the details of Proxmox backup servers, but beyond the scope of this video, honestly. So, like, it's really hard to communicate with others and teach people things. And so that's what I'm trying to learn myself, but also trying to just give back, you know, to the Linux community, because the Linux community has taught me quite a bit, and has taught me a lot about both computers and the philosophy behind computers and stuff like that. And so I may not be good at programming. I may not be good at setting up anything technical. I'm not going to be able to ship a product anytime soon. But you know what I can do? I can sit here and I can tell you what I learned, and maybe you can learn something off of my mistakes and my experiences. So again, thank you for being here and commenting on the video and asking questions. It was actually really cool to respond to people and see, like, all of their personal experiences. It was fucking wild, I'll admit. And on that topic, let's actually go in and let's respond to some comments, right? Because responding to comments is never a bad idea. No, not at all. Genuinely though, I think it would be really fun, so let's just do it. All right. So we're gonna do this live. Here we go. Let's put this up on screen. Whoa! Look at this shit. Here, you know what? Let me also, before. What if I do this? Hold on. What? Oh, we're getting fancy here. We're gonna do the Germa. Ah, whoa! I'm a fucking streamer, dude. Oh, I'm going off screen. Okay, there we go. I'm keeping all of this in, by the way. Huge fucking okay, one of the big things I didn't expect with this video is just the gigantic fucking threads of people discussing stuff in the comment section. That was really cool to see. My channel has never been big enough to have these kinds of comment strings, so that's pretty fucking cool. One thing I do want to talk about, I want to touch upon, is these right here, these like Google, YouTube, like AI generated responses. I don't like them. I'm very clear. Hey, YouTube, I don't fucking like this. Please let me turn this off. Please, thank you. I would like that. I like this guy. You think you think you got it rough transporting through a single thread? I live in Indonesia. We don't have the infrastructure here. I had to be transported in an emergency through a shell script on a VAX server. Yeah, mini computers were still a thing here until only recently. The supplying company went bust before they could find my left hand in the archives. I thought that was really good. I gave that a little heart. That's a good one. I respect it. Thank you. Epos Vox, like, what's up, buddy? You wanna get the collabing on something? That would be fun. FGC analogy is golden. I have been seeing some people talking about that FGC analogy, and thank you. First off, yeah, like, it took me a little bit to like kind of formulate my thoughts on that, and I had to like write down a bunch of stuff on like the process of learning fighting games. And as someone who like is not a professional fighting game player by any stretch of the imagination, but someone who like appreciates all like the work that goes into, not work, but like appreciates the process of learning fighting games, I thought that this would be really, really cool to include in this video. I can't go back. Windows 11 will screenshot me. I can't go back. Windows 11 will screenshot me. Yeah, that's true. Dude, it's fucking sucks. I hate Copilot. I hate Recall. I've already talked about it though. We're not gonna get into it. I did have some people responding here. I actually pinned this comment, not for the comment itself. Howdy, Rogran, one of my members. Cool guy, I think. I pinned this comment, not for the comment itself, but for my response to the comment, because here he talks about gaming distros like Nobara and the like, and I have used Nobara in the past, and I want to go into a little bit more detail. I put detail here in this response here, and that's why I pinned it. I specifically don't recommend Nobara to novice Linux users. And the reason I say that is because Nobara and Bazite and, you know, all these other things, even Hollow ISO to a certain extent, they all are weird in their setup process. And what I mean by that is if you want someone, if you just want something that works, Nobara would probably work out just fine. But if you actually want to learn Linux and you want to like try to understand the Linux side of everything, then I don't recommend those. Just because as a new user, you're not going to have the context already of how Linux distros normally run. And I personally feel more comfortable recommending something basic, something like widely accepted, something widely supported. Like I said here in the comment section, no shame on Glorious Egg Roll and all the people who maintain distros like Nobara and what was the other one he was talking about? It was Nobara. It was Nobara, Chimera, Bazite, stuff like that. Those are just smaller teams that are maintaining those distros, and so by that metric, you're going to be getting less support on the distro, and it's not something I'd recommend to new users just because you're not getting as much support. If you know what you're doing and you know what Linux is, then yeah, go fucking hog wild. I don't fucking control what you do. And also, for the record, you can just not take my opinions seriously. You can just dive right into Bazite if you really want to. I don't give a fuck. I'm not your dad. But it's not something that I would personally recommend. That's the difference, right? A lot of Nobara users in the comment section, though. I didn't realize that Nobara was as widespread as it was, so, you know, maybe I'll give it another shot. Maybe if I finally build the secondary gaming PC I've been wanting to build for like a couple months, I'll install Nobara on it and see what's up. Another thing, I've had a bunch of people recommend NixOS, and listen, I understand that NixOS is cool. I understand that a lot of you love NixOS in this comment section. Maybe later. Listen, don't hold your breath on it. Maybe I'll check it out for a video, maybe I won't. I'm pretty comfortable with where I am on what distro I'm using. You know, we got this guy over here who's talking about Gentoo, Nix, Alpine, stuff like that. Like, this is going, if you thought Arch was going deep, no. Like, these three right here, that's going deep into Linux, dude. Maybe later, maybe never. I don't know. I can't tell what the future is going to be, but for the time being, right now, it's not my main focus. I've got other projects in the background that I'm working on that would be a lot cooler to do right now for me. I did have a couple of people talking here about considering switching to Linux and considering using Arch and all that stuff, and my video is like part of the reason that they're deciding to use it, and that's cool. Very cool. You should do it. Hey, if you are contemplating switching to Linux, just try it. Like, use a VM or use a spare laptop that you've got sitting around, or, you know, do any number of things. Like, you have options, and I'll make a video in the future talking about how I switched to Linux and how I like transitioned almost. It wasn't cold turkey. I'll be completely blunt with you. Like, my transition was not cold turkey. So we will talk about that in a future video. And I guess that word choice is actually pretty poignant to something that happened in the video that I sometimes get responses on. And it was the whole thing involving Emily. Now, you know what? I'm gonna full screen for this. Hello, chat. Continuity is dumb. Fuck you. Hello, it's been a while since I last recorded that video. Hi, Gizmo. He's awake now. Fuck, I just realized I kind of look like Queso. Holy shit. I'm not ginger, but I do have ginger beard syndrome, so that's really funny. I'm re-recording this section of the video because I didn't like the way I phrased anything, and it's... look, okay. I don't like being political on this channel. Like, I'll make jokes about my political beliefs, and I obviously have political beliefs, but you are not here to watch me talk about politics. You're here to watch me talk about funny technology and dumb shit and video games and, like, weird controllers. I hate that trans people are inherently political. I live in America. That's kind of unavoidable, honestly. Especially this year. Holy shit. And it's not going to be any more avoidable, the rhetoric that some people spout out. So I got a lot of comments in that last video talking about how I was woke, or I censored myself, or any other number of bigoted shit that I will not repeat in this video. All because I decided to not dead name a trans person. Okay, so back it up. Let's start from the beginning here. So I respect the fuck out of Emily. I respect the fuck out of the things she did and the content she makes, the videos she writes for LMG, all kinds of stuff, right? I think she makes cool shit, and I wanted to respect her, and I wanted to not dance around, but I didn't want to be so, like, fucking rude to her to use her dead name in the video, because that is rude, right? And me being me, I thought that, well, you know, that video came out before she transitioned, so I, like, mentioning her dead name when it is present in the video that I was referencing probably wouldn't have been that big of an issue, but just for the sake of safetyness, I went to one of my close friends who is also a trans person, and I spoke with her. I had already censored out that clip of me saying Emily's dead name, and I was like, hey, am I overthinking this? Like, is it gonna be that big of a deal to have uttered that name when it was in the video? I was like, you know, and I just wanted some outside opinions, and I wanted to be clear that I wasn't trying to be rude. And I showed her the entire clip. I showed my friend the entire clip, and after some talking back and forth, we both came to the conclusion of just like, okay, better to err on the side of safety and just censor the name and not have it be in the video. And part of me wishes I didn't say it at all, but that's what editing is for, right? I thought nothing of it, but how naive of me, because I forget what country I live in, and some bigoted, hateful motherfuckers were coming into my comment section and saying some outlandish shit, dude. I know that none of these people are watching to this point in the video. And I know that people who share those particular kinds of beliefs probably had already stopped watching. But if you, for some reason, still believe that me refusing to dead name Emily was a bad thing for whatever reason, go away. I don't want you here, and it would be outright ludicrous of me to allow some of these people to remain in my community when I'm talking about fucking Linux, dude. For God's sakes, 70% of the Linux community, like if you were to make a Venn diagram of, like a tri-way Venn diagram of like furries and trans people and Linux users, it would almost be a circle, right? And if you see any of those comments, like, ignore them, block them, thumbs down them, I don't know, fuck. And like, I'm not trans. I don't have experience with the feelings of gender dysphoria or questioning your own sexuality, but at the end of the day, I don't have to have experience with that, because as long as you're being respectful to others in the comment section, as long as you're not being a piece of shit, as long as you're not harming anyone else or even yourself, then I don't really give a shit. I don't have the time to care about, like, whether or not someone is trans. I don't like being upset. Right, and I don't like making political statements like this. It's not worth my time, it's not worth your time, and you're not here to watch this shit. So, hey, I'm gonna leave the trans shit in, I'm gonna respect my trans, I'm a trans ally, I guess, is the best way to say it, right? I believe in trans rights, I believe in gay rights. Women, however, no. No, I can't leave that in the video, holy... Oh, fuck, okay, I'm gonna leave that in. That was actually kind of funny. Anyway, after all of that, of just my rambling, upset nonsense, I'm gonna go back to the outro that I recorded previously. Yeah. Anyway, enough bullshit. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. Thank you again for all of your wonderful, wonderful support. It does mean the world to me. I do want to thank the lads here, the YouTube lads, who got a shout out at the beginning of the video and at the end of the video. There's a lot that goes into making these videos, and these people like directly support me, and it's really cool. You don't have to directly support me like this. You can share the video, you can like, you can comment, you can do all that stuff to boost me in the algorithm, yada 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 yada. You all know this YouTuber shit. Anyway, I'm tired. I need water. I ran out of water like an hour ago, so I'm gonna go get some more. Have a good day, everybody.